On the bustling trade hub of Zorith 3, the alien city buzzed with energy. Towering crystal spires reflected the bright suns, and floating vehicles zoomed between platforms, carrying goods, passengers, and messages. Aliens of every shape and size hurried through the streets, their voices rising in overlapping tones that created a constant hum of chatter. Among them, humans were rare. Most aliens considered them small, weak, and inexperienced, incapable of handling the complex ways of interstellar society. A young human girl named Lily Carter stepped off the transport platform, her dark hair tied back neatly, and her bright green eyes wide with curiosity. At her side, a small black cat named Shadow padded silently, his sleek fur shimmering under the artificial lights of the hub. Shadow's bright eyes scanned the surroundings carefully, tail flicking now and then in cautious curiosity. Though he looked ordinary, there was something unusual in his movements, a quiet confidence and intelligence that set him apart from the common city cats of Zorith 3. As Lily made her way toward the trading district, a group of alien merchants noticed her and began laughing. "A human with a pet?" one said, his voice sharp and high-pitched. "Does she really think that tiny creature can survive here?" Another alien, a tall creature with shimmering scales and multiple arms, sneered. "It looks like a weakling. Useless for trade, useless for protection. Humans are always funny." Lily ignored the laughter. She had learned not to let alien judgments affect her. She understood that most beings here underestimated humans, and underestimated Shadow. She adjusted the small satchel across her shoulder and whispered to her cat, "Stay close, Shadow. We'll show them soon enough." Shadow flicked his tail, brushing against her hand as if acknowledging her words, ready to act when the moment came. The trading district was crowded, filled with merchants selling exotic foods, rare minerals, strange machines, and curious artifacts from distant star systems. Aliens hurried past, their multi-limbed forms jostling against each other as they bartered, negotiated, or simply moved along to their destinations. Shadow leapt lightly from crate to crate, observing the crowd with caution. His small size allowed him to remain unnoticed, and his eyes followed each movement carefully. Lily found a small empty corner between two hovering stalls, a quiet spot where she could set up her own goods. She unpacked a few items from her satchel, handmade gadgets, simple mechanical tools, and curiosities from Earth. None of the aliens paid much attention to her yet, assuming she and her tiny cat were harmless and insignificant. Some nearby merchants whispered as they watched. "Why does a human girl come here with nothing but a cat?" one asked, shaking his head. "She cannot even carry heavy goods, much less trade like the rest of us." Another merchant laughed. "I would not rely on that creature for protection if the city were attacked. It's too small, too weak." Lily's lips pressed together in a faint smile. She did not respond to the mockery. She had learned to focus on what mattered, her own abilities and the trust she shared with Shadow. The cat leapt gracefully onto the edge of her crate, curling up and watching the passers-by with intelligent eyes. Lily whispered softly, "Don't worry, Shadow. They don't understand, but we will manage just fine." The aliens' laughter continued, but their confidence was misplaced. Shadow was far from an ordinary cat. He had sharp instincts, speed, and a cleverness that humans had trained and nurtured. Lily had noticed how his eyes tracked movements, how he calculated jumps, and how he reacted to even the slightest threat. In the eyes of the aliens he was small and harmless, but Lily knew his capabilities were extraordinary, and she trusted him completely. As she unpacked her small goods, Shadow's ears twitched at a distant vibration. A low, rumbling sound echoed through the city streets, one that most of the aliens ignored, believing it to be a passing vehicle. But Lily's senses, sharpened by years of observing Earth's unpredictable creatures, told her it was something different, something dangerous approaching the outskirts of the trade hub. She bent slightly to Shadow, murmuring, "Stay alert, boy. Something's coming." Shadow's eyes widened slightly and he stretched, preparing his muscles for action. Lily remained calm, even as nearby aliens continued to jeer at her and her cat. She knew that the real test was not the mockery of others, but the ability to act when the moment came. For now the humans were small, overlooked, and underestimated. But Lily and Shadow had a quiet confidence that no alien laughter could shake. Their bond, trust, and readiness would soon be put to the test. And though no one watching suspected it, this tiny black cat and the girl who owned him would prove that courage, intelligence, and heart were not measured by size or appearance, but by action when it mattered most. As the suns of Zorith 3 reflected off the glass towers and shimmered on the crowd, Lily adjusted her satchel, straightened her posture, and whispered to Shadow one last time, "Let's show them what we can do." Shadow purred softly in agreement, a small, sleek shadow of determination, ready for whatever challenge the bustling city, and the universe, would throw their way. The aliens laughed and mocked, but unseen in their eyes was the quiet intelligence and courage that would soon turn the tide. And in the midst of the crowded trade hub, a human girl and her black cat waited, calm, observant, and prepared. Weeks passed on Zorth 3 and life in the bustling trade hub continued as usual, or at least it seemed to. Aliens scurried through the streets, arranging goods, haggling over prices, and boasting of their own importance. Yet beneath the daily routine an uneasy tension grew. Rumors whispered through the marketplaces, carried by traders and travelers alike. A warbeast had been spotted on the outskirts of the city, a creature of immense size, covered in thick armored scales, with claws that could tear through metal and teeth capable of crushing bones. It had destroyed outlying trade posts, leaving destruction in its wake. Most alien merchants and citizens now avoided venturing near the edges of the city. Fear hung in the air, heavy and tangible, as everyone wondered when, or if, the creature would strike within the hub itself. Even with all this fear, the aliens continued to underestimate Lily and her small black cat, Shadow. From their perspective, humans were weak and Shadow was merely a pet. That girl and her cat? They cannot even protect themselves, sneered a tall, four-armed merchant as he passed by her stall. Why does she even stay here? This city is no place for a human with a toy animal. Others laughed, echoing the sentiment. It will be amusing to watch them run when the warbeast comes, muttered a trader, shaking his scaled head. Lily, however, paid no mind to the chatter. She continued to tend to her stall, carefully arranging her small gadgets and curiosities while keeping one hand lightly resting on Shadow's sleek back. She had long ago learned that panic and mockery were useless distractions. Observing and preparing mattered far more. Shadow's green eyes followed every movement along the streets and rooftops, scanning for anything unusual. His ears twitched at sounds the humans could barely hear, and his muscles tensed like coiled springs ready for action. The human girl and her cat had already noticed subtle signs that others overlooked. Trees bent unnaturally in the wind, faint tremors ran through the outer platforms, and distant roars echoed across the city. Aliens dismissed these signs, blaming construction noise or minor tremors. But Lily's instincts, honed by both observation and patience, told her the warbeast was drawing closer. She bent slightly toward Shadow, murmuring, "It's coming, boy. Be ready." Shadow flicked his tail in response, acknowledging the warning. Lily's preparation was simple but deliberate. She began checking her surroundings, moving crates and items to create small barriers, and quietly clearing space for Shadow to move freely. While the alien traders panicked at the first signs of danger, Lily's calm and steady presence allowed her cat to act instinctively. Shadow leapt onto higher platforms, crouched low behind crates, and positioned himself where he could see the outskirts of the city, waiting for the right moment. Other humans might have panicked at the mere thought of the warbeast, but Lily was different. She understood that courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. She whispered softly to Shadow, "We can handle this. Just stay sharp." The cat's green eyes glimmered with intelligence and alertness. Unlike the alien traders who relied solely on weapons and brute strength, Lily trusted in strategy, observation, and instinct. The aliens continued to underestimate them. They mocked Shadow, thinking him too small to matter, while preparing their weapons in futile attempts to defend themselves. "It is laughable," a merchant said, lifting a small energy blaster. "A mere cat will do nothing against the warbeast." Another shrugged and added, "And the human? Pathetic. No skill, no experience. She will vanish at the first roar." Yet Lily knew differently. She had spent weeks studying the city layout, noting vantage points, escape routes, and hiding spaces. She had observed the warbeast's earlier appearances, understanding its patterns and likely approach. Shadow, too, had been watching carefully, learning from her cues. Together they formed a silent, unspoken team, small in size, yes, but precise, patient, and ready. As the sun began to set over Zorth 3, casting long shadows over the trading hub, a distant rumble vibrated through the streets. Lily's hand gently rested on Shadow's fur, steadying him. He crouched, tail low, muscles tense. She whispered one last time, "Soon, Shadow. We'll show them." The aliens continued to gossip, mocking what they assumed was an insignificant human girl and her small pet, blind to the quiet preparation and intelligence that neither size nor appearance could reveal. The warbeast approached steadily, its steps shaking the ground beneath the outskirts of the city. Most of the alien traders fled in panic, leaving stalls and goods behind. Lily and Shadow remained calm, the air around them electric with anticipation. While others relied on weapons and strength, this small human and her black cat relied on observation, courage, and quick thinking. The coming encounter would test them both, but Lily was ready. And Shadow was ready. In the shadows of Zorath 3, where aliens laughed and mocked, a human girl and her black cat waited. They were underestimated, ignored, and dismissed, but they would soon prove that courage, cleverness, and heart could achieve what no weapon or alien might could. One evening, the skies over Zorath 3 darkened slightly as the Warbeast approached, its massive form moving through the outskirts of the trade hub with terrifying power. The ground shook under its heavy steps and distant structures rattled in warning. Its thick, armored scales glinted under the fading sunlight, sharp claws digging into the platform floors, and a roar echoed that made even the bravest alien traders tremble. Panic spread quickly. Aliens screamed, dropping goods and rushing to flee, hoping their weapons could somehow deter the creature. Yet every energy blast, blaster shot, and mechanical trap bounced harmlessly off the Warbeast's impenetrable hide. Amid the chaos, Lily Carter remained calm. She crouched behind a low crate, her hands gently stroking Shadow's sleek black fur. The cat's ears twitched, eyes fixed on the approaching menace, tail flicking as he balanced perfectly on the edge of the crate. "Stay close, Shadow," Lily whispered softly. "We need to watch and wait. We can't fight with strength, but we can outthink it." Her voice was steady, her heart beating in rhythm with the tension of the moment. Unlike the panicking aliens, she was focused, observant, and ready to act. Shadow shifted slightly, his small frame coiled like a spring. He scanned the creature, noting the movement of its limbs, the sway of its head, and the places where the armor plates overlapped. His green eyes glimmered with intelligence, understanding instinctively what Lily had taught him. Patience, timing, and precision were more powerful than sheer force. The Warbeast's massive head swung toward the trading hub as it growled, testing the defenses of the city. Aliens scattered, shrieking, while Lily remained calm, holding Shadow close. She watched the creature's patterns carefully, seeing that it reacted slowly to sudden distractions and overestimated the size and threat of nearby humans. While the other merchants and citizens focused only on weapons and panic, Lily considered a different approach. She realized that a small, precise strike at the right moment could make the difference. Around her, the hub was chaos. Crates toppled, merchandise rolled across the streets, and blaster shots fired wildly at the unstoppable beast. Yet none of it slowed or scared it. Lily's calmness contrasted sharply with the noise and fear. She bent down slightly and whispered again to Shadow, "We can do this. Just wait for the right moment." The cat purred softly in agreement, ready to leap at the perfect instant. As the Warbeast drew closer, its roar shaking the nearby buildings, Lily carefully measured the distance between it and a stack of crates. She noticed a small ledge along the side of the platform that would give Shadow the height he needed to strike. Her mind raced quickly, planning how a tiny human and her cat could overcome a creature that had terrified the city for weeks. The aliens continued to panic, shouting at each other and firing useless shots. "It is impossible," cried one merchant, throwing his hands up. "Nothing can stop it." Another screamed, "We are doomed." But Lily's voice remained steady in her mind, calm, focused, and full of quiet determination. She understood that courage, cleverness, and observation could achieve what weapons and technology could not. Finally, the Warbeast paused, sniffing the air, its massive claws scratching the metal platform. Its attention was distracted for just a moment, enough for Shadow to crouch low, muscles tensing like springs. Lily held him lightly, murmuring, "Now, boy. Show them what we can do." The city held its breath as the small black cat prepared for the leap that no alien expected, while Lily's calm presence guided him. Shadow's tiny frame seemed insignificant compared to the enormous beast, but the cat's intelligence, timing, and trust in his human companion gave him a strength that no armor or scale could withstand. In that moment, the aliens began to realize that perhaps the human and her cat were more capable than they had believed. Their laughter, their mockery, and their doubt faded into silence, replaced by awe and fear as the small pair prepared to face the Warbeast. Even as the creature roared and advanced, Lily remained steady, heart-focused, and mind-sharp. Shadow crouched, ready to leap, his green eyes fixed on the target, muscles coiled. The human's patience, intelligence, and courage would soon be tested in a way the aliens of Zorath 3 could never have imagined. And in the quiet determination of a young human girl and her black cat, the city saw the first signs that courage and cleverness were not measured by size or species, but by heart, trust, and timing. As the Warbeast lunged forward, The ground shaking beneath its massive claws, Lily ducked behind a crate, keeping low and steady. Her mind raced, but fear did not cloud her judgment. She reached into her satchel and pulled out a small flare, tossing it to one side. It landed with a spark and a hiss, drawing the beast's attention away from her. Its enormous head swung toward the glowing object, sniffing and growling, distracted by the sudden light. Shadow crouched beside Lily, tensed like a spring. The black cat's green eyes locked onto the warbeast, muscles coiled for the perfect moment. With a graceful, silent leap, he sprang from the crate to the ledge, then onto the beast's back. The alien onlookers gasped, some frozen in disbelief. A small cat had dared to confront the massive creature that had terrified the city. Once on the warbeast's back, Shadow moved with precision, paws digging into the thick scales without losing balance. He found weak points between the overlapping plates of armor, claws scratching and digging into the slightly softer areas. The beast thrashed violently, trying to shake him off, but Shadow's focus was unwavering. He darted to the left, leapt over a ridge in the beast's back, and clawed at a joint where a leg met the body. Each movement was deliberate, calculated, and quick. Lily stayed behind, whispering instructions to Shadow, her voice calm and steady. "Left, Shadow. Aim for the joint. Now." The cat responded instantly, moving with agile precision, guided by the bond and trust he shared with Lily. The aliens around the plaza could only watch in stunned silence. Their advanced weapons had done nothing, but this small human and her cat were changing everything. The warbeast roared, thrashing and spinning, trying to dislodge Shadow, but the cat held on. His claws found another weak point near the beast's shoulders. Lily threw another flare to distract its vision, giving Shadow the opening he needed. With a powerful leap, he landed closer to the head, swiping at the soft tissue under the armored plates. The creature bellowed, stumbling and spinning, but Shadow's speed and agility allowed him to stay just out of reach of the claws and teeth. Through it all, Lily never panicked. She moved carefully, placing herself in positions where she could assist if necessary, but she trusted Shadow to act with his instincts. "Keep it moving," she whispered. "Don't let it find its footing." The cat's green eyes sparkled with intelligence and determination, his small size allowing him to dart and dodge with ease. The alien traders who had mocked them before now looked on in awe. "A cat, a human, they're stopping it," one whispered. Another added, "I've never seen anything like this in all my life. The humans, they are clever and brave beyond belief." Their laughter and doubt had vanished, replaced by admiration and disbelief. Shadow made one final, daring leap, landing near the beast's exposed neck joint. He sank his claws in, holding firmly as the warbeast struggled. Lily's steady voice guided him, whispering encouragement, timing, and commands. With one last coordinated push, Shadow forced the creature to stumble and fall heavily onto the ground. Dust rose in clouds as it tried to rise again but eventually lay still, exhausted and defeated. Lily rushed forward, patting Shadow's sleek back. The black cat purred softly, his chest heaving from the exertion but eyes shining with pride and intelligence. Around them, aliens cautiously approached, awe written across their faces. The humans had achieved what no weapon, trap, or technology had been able to do. In the heart of the city, Lily and her small black cat stood victorious. The warbeast had been stopped, and the aliens' assumptions shattered. They had mocked what they thought was weak, only to witness courage, cleverness, and teamwork triumph where strength and arrogance had failed. For the first time, the citizens of Zorth 3 saw the true power of humanity, not in machines or technology, but in quick thinking, bravery, and the bond between a girl and her small black cat. The city slowly began to calm, the echoes of the warbeast's roar fading into the evening air. Dust settled over the streets, and the alien merchants and citizens emerged from their hiding places. They paused as their eyes fell on the small human girl standing confidently beside her sleek black cat. Lily Carter held Shadow close, her hand resting lightly on his back, and for the first time she allowed herself a small, proud smile. The whispers began quietly at first. "Did you see that?" one alien murmured, eyes wide. "A human, and a cat, they defeated the warbeast." Another added, "It's impossible. Their courage and cleverness surpassed anything we imagined." Slowly, astonishment spread through the city. The aliens who had mocked them, laughed at them, and whispered cruel comments now bowed their heads in respect. Even the most arrogant merchants and nobles, who had scoffed at humans, stepped forward with cautious admiration. The city elders convened quickly, realizing that their assumptions about humans had been wrong. They had long thought humans weak, inexperienced and incapable of dealing with challenges beyond simple labor or observation. Yet here was living proof that one human girl, guided by intelligence, patience and courage, could overcome a threat that had terrified an entire city. Shadow, too, became a symbol of ingenuity and bravery, his small size hiding the power and precision that had saved the day. Lily spoke softly to the gathered crowd, her voice calm and confident. "We didn't fight to show strength," she said, glancing at Shadow. "We acted with care, observation and courage. The Warbeast was dangerous, but careful thinking and trust made the difference." The aliens listened, realizing that the lesson extended beyond the fight. It was not only strength or weapons that mattered, it was cleverness, bravery and teamwork, even from the smallest and most underestimated beings. Merchants approached Lily with questions, eager to learn how she and Shadow had done what no alien warrior, trap or machine could. Children stared wide-eyed, inspired by the human girl who had faced a living nightmare with nothing but a small cat, her mind and her calm courage. The city's leaders made public declarations honoring her bravery. They spoke openly about the importance of humility, observation, and the ability to think creatively in moments of crisis. From that day forward, humans on Zorth 3 were no longer dismissed as weak or insignificant. They were recognized as clever, brave, and resourceful, capable of feats that even the most technologically advanced aliens could not achieve alone. Lily and Shadow became a lasting symbol of hope, intelligence, and courage. The story of the girl and her cat spread across the city and into neighboring worlds, reminding everyone that appearances could deceive, and that even the smallest creatures could accomplish extraordinary things when guided by heart, trust, and clever thinking. As the sun set over the bustling city, painting the sky in shades of orange and violet, Lily and Shadow perched on a rooftop, looking over the streets they had saved. For the first time, the black cat purred contentedly, and Lily allowed herself to laugh softly. Around them, aliens began to whisper words of admiration and respect, their previous doubts replaced by awe. In the hearts and minds of Zorth 3's citizens, one truth became undeniable. Humans, though often underestimated, could achieve the impossible through courage, intelligence, and unity. And sometimes, all it took was a small black cat and a calm human girl willing to act when everyone else hesitated.